Welcome back to School Calisthenics. It is Tim and Jacko, and today's lesson we are looking at handstands, but with a specific focus on balance.
So we're going to look at some freestanding tuck handstand progressions. Let's get into it. So learning to balance in our hands is going to take a little bit of skill, refinement and some progression around developing the right motor pattern. It's not something which we've got straight away. Just as when you learn to walk, you're stumbling around and falling over. We have to go through the same process of trialing different strategies, working out which ones are successful and then refining the movement pattern that we're trying to implement and ultimately teaching yourself to move in a new way.
One of the great things about learning to balance on your hands for the first time is you're learning new skill, and that's great, but as Tim says, it's difficult. You're going to fall over, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have to keep getting up and keep getting up. So it's one of those things where it's lots and lots of failure that is going to make you ultimately be good at this. So don't get put off when it's hard and difficult sometimes. Take some rest, come back to it to another day, small amounts and often, but when you do fall over, you've got to keep getting back up.
We're going to pick up on our bottom up and top down strategy again, and the first exercise is going to be a crow stand progression into tuck freestanding handstand.
So we're going to take this crow stand and look at how we can get that from our crow into this tucked, inverted or upside down chair position, or the Stevenson chair as we like to call it. So it's this focus on straight arms again. Tim's going to be in his crow, and what he's going to try and do is he needs to have the strength to take his legs off and just push up a little bit until he makes this upside down chair position where the hip is stacked on top of the shoulder, on top of the wrist. Stop showing off, come back down to him. So these blocks are going to help support the head. We're going to be using a tool from the locker, assistance and stability together. So it's an extra point of contact on the floor. The raised position means that Tim can go effectively into a headstand from that crow. So he goes to his crow, but he's going to put his head on it, but it's a straight arm headstand position. So we're still keeping that straight arm position. Then if he's strong enough, he's going to try and take those knees off and rotate the hips so that all of a sudden we've got this upside down chair position. He's pushing hard down through the shoulders, but the head is resting on the block. So you can come back down. So that's one stage to work to. So the next thing you can do is we're going to take the block out altogether, but not from the beginning. You're going to use it initially, and then he's going to do a little shrug where you're pushing the shoulder towards the ear, and it's going to create an extra bit of lift where the head is actually going to come off. So the start is the same, head's resting on, knees come off, rotate the hip on top of the shoulder, and then from there it's this extra little shrug where all of a sudden the head has come off the block. Come back down to him now, stop showing off. The head comes off the block and we're now balancing freestanding in the air. Things that are happening, we're going that straight arm all the time. We're creating tension by driving that shoulder away to help create tension through the joint to hold you in there. Fingers are working hard. You're keeping the hip stacked on top of the shoulder, which is on top of the wrist. So we've got that nice alignment, and you're now starting to get into a position where you are getting good in that upside down chair or Tim Stevenson chair position.
The last step on our tuck handstand journey is to piece it all together, and this is where the rubber hits the road. We've got to take what we've learned in the crow stand from our bottom up. We've got to take what we've learned against the wall for our top down, mix it all together and spend a bit of time practicing this freestanding position. So we're going to get Jacko to give us a demonstration, but the first thing we need to just get you comfortable with is how to bail out if it goes a little bit wrong. And it is going to be a situation where you're going to find yourself falling, so get comfortable just getting yourself back onto your feet. So Jacko's just going to kick up, arms are straight. We're just going to try as if we're going to go into a great position. So as if we're going to go in for the perfect rep, arms are straight, he's kicking up, but we might just find he's not kicking hard enough, so he comes back down. But the tricky one here is if he's going to start to come over. Just show him a really good one, Jacko. We're going to go full 180. Hit up. All you're going to do is just rotate yourself around and out of that position. The hands stay on the floor the whole time, but you're just twisting yourself out and you can get your feet back safely on the floor. So now that we know how to get out of the position if it goes a bit wrong, let's look about nailing it down so that we get to do that less. Jacko's going to go hands on the floor. We're starting to think about his clawing strength. So he's gripping the floor with his fingertips. He's going to use that to make the adjustments for his balance as he goes into his position. He comes up onto his tiptoes with the arms straight in our crow stand position. Remember, pushing down hard, keeping the elbows locked in. He's going to give a little bit of bounce from the toes, and the job is to try and stack the hips up on top of the shoulders. This is the opportunity here where we went right back to the beginning where he started to look at the wall, tuck up. He's using that strength in the shoulders to control the hip position and keep it stacked up over the shoulders and the hands. The job then is just, can you hold that, keeps pushing down, and you've just got to work until you can find the balance position. Some of that is going to be around some corrective strategies, some of that is about creating a nice alignment. But practice, keep going, spend some time just building this up. It will come in time as you start to refine that motor pattern. So that's it, that's the journey towards the freestanding tuck handstand. There's loads of stuff in there to practice, but that is a key take-home message. This is going to take a bit of time. You have to learn to refine that motor pattern, and you can only do that by exposing yourself to the stimulus built on the back of some really strong foundations that you've developed in the exercises to this point.
Yeah, I mean, we stumbled our way through trying to learn how to balance on our hands from being ex-rugby players, no gymnastics background, all that jazz, and it took us a long time, so we made a lot of mistakes. We're taking all that out and giving you the stuff that works. If you feel like you want a little bit of extra help in terms of knowing exactly what to do from week 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, we've got a new handstand guide that's designed specifically for beginners. So check that out in the description below if you're interested in getting in that. But until next week,
Class dismissed.